Hey scaredy cats, it looks like I have some splaining to do. It's been 3+ weeks since my last video. I did make some positive changes in my life, but they've ultimately affected my channel and uploadability quite negatively. I've moved into a new house, which is actually pretty awesome. But, and this is a big but, my options for internet are nearly non-existent. So after a long search, I'm forced to use my phone's hotspot. It's not hundreds of megs fast, but I'll make it work for as long as I need to. I hope everyone missed my narrations, and I definitely missed all of you. And now that I've said everything I wanted to say, it's Scary Storiez time. I have a great story for you, written by My Oh My Pancakes. Enjoy. The first victim was Emily Stout. She was the sweetest thing, coming up from South Carolina to make it on Broadway. I met her at the subway station. Her blonde hair was gorgeous and really well cared for. Her blue eyes were cute, and then her smile would easily brighten up your day. Unfortunately, everything about her turned repulsive when I got to her. When the police found her, most of her teeth were missing. Her hair was ripped to shreds and her eyes were popped out of their sockets. Every time I look at her picture, it brings a smile to my face, until I remember how she looked when I left her. The next victim was Roger Parks. He was this big shot stockbroker, and he put most of his money in stocks because he believed that that's where all of the money will grow. Well, finally one day his stocks went down. Hard. He lost all of his money in the 2008 depression. He looked so depressed when I made my attack, like he was ready to die. The police found him the same way they found the first victim, but he had his briefcase still. Inside of it was all of his papers he needed, and the most disturbing thing was that he had a picture of his family on him. Maybe he just wanted one last goodbye. The third victim was Victoria Smith. She was this 40-something mother of 3. She was definitely keeping good shape at her age. She would always complain about how her kids don't have time for her anymore, and how her husband won't pay her any attention. They found her with her guts pulled out of her body, skull crushed, and her body becoming jelly. I have her picture with her family, the family that didn't give her enough attention. The fourth victim was Kelly Soprano. She worked the ticket booth at the subway station. I saw her every day she worked after school. Pretty little thing. Her brunette hair was amazing. Her smile always brightened me up when I had my darkest days. And she was always down to talk, whenever. I wished I'd never touched her. Looking back, she was the victim I regret killing the most. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Her picture is her with the dog filter on her face, and she's wearing her Metro uniform. The fifth and most recent victim was Todd Lebowski. He was this wannabe YouTuber performing stupid stunts to get views. I watched his videos after the killing, and he seemed like an entitled douchebag. His last stunt was the worst one he could think of. He was getting my attention, trying to piss me off. Well, he got what he wanted. To piss me off. His body was the worst out of all of them. They couldn't even recognize who he was. They had to go off of dental records to see who he was. Somehow the camera was intact, so they looked at the footage, and what they saw was me trying to tell him to get off the track before I ran him over with the subway car. After every death, everyone tells me it's not your fault, but I can't help remembering them in their last moments. I started to feel better when I took pictures of them and hang them in the subway cars I drive for the day. I went to everyone's funeral to make sure they had someone to remember them. Emily had to go into prostitution, became a heavy user of drugs. Roger became affiliated with loan sharks and made a hole too big to come out of. Victoria lost everything. Her kids went out of state. Her husband was a gay man the whole time. The cherry on top was she found out she had skin cancer and she had months to live. Kelly was a victim of bullying. Her note said that she loved everyone that made her smile. She even mentioned me. Todd seemed like a stunt gone wrong, but actually he was battling depression, and his stunts were his way of trying to end it all. To the people who are battling depression or are going through a rough spot in their life, just know that someone will remember you fondly, even if it's the guy who sees you in your final seconds.